Hi SVNs. This morning I'm going to share with you about God's love. Jesus once related the story about a father who had two sons, and the younger one was wanting to have his own way of life. He wanted to decide on his own. He wanted to have a free way of living. So he was wondering. In fact, the father was had set a lot of rules and regulations at home. So this the son was not in favor of. So he was in fact thinking about what would be there on the outside. So what he did was he once went and asked the father, "Father, I would want to enjoy the world outside. So why don't you give me a share of your property?" And because there were two sons, the elder and the younger, so the father had to just divide his property. So what he did is the father was willing, and he was even willing to let his son decide on taking the bad choices. So the son in fact takes all the money that the father gives. The father gave him half of his inheritance, and he took that money and went and spent everything lavishly. He spent on all kinds of vices, and very soon he lost everything. And after a while he was with the pigs and feeding the pigs. So that is what was happening. It was very awful. So as he was in that situation, he begins to realize that in his father's house there were so many of his servants who lived a better life than what he is experiencing at this moment. So what he did, he was thinking about what he could do to get back to his father. And in fact, he was thinking like, my father will not take me back, but what I will do is I will go and work in his field as a servant. So that is what he decided. And as he was walking back home, he's thinking like, I have sinned against you, against heaven. And this is what he was thinking in his mind, and he was going back. In fact, when all this was happening, the father was actually waiting for his son to return back. In fact, he was praying. He was always outside looking at the road and trying to see if his son was returning. And as he was doing that, at one point in time the son did return. He was able to see the son very far away. He was returning back. What the father did was, when he realized that it is his son, he just ran. In fact, in their culture, they will not run. Men will not run. So they just walk. But and in this instance, the father just runs, and he goes out and he just hugs his son. And the son was in fact burtling out, and I've sinned against heaven, against you. He was going to say all that, but the father didn't take all that. The father's love was so great. He just hugged him and took him, and immediately he went to his house and he told people that my son who was lost has returned, and give him the best of everything. So in fact, that day they had a big party, and he was given a robe. He was given ring, and they cut a fattened calf, and they had a party in fact. So that is what is the love that the Father showed the Son. I just want to bring one verse. It's 1 Corinthians 13:13, where it says, "And now abide faith, hope, love. These three, but the greatest of these is love." Love is the greatest because it will continue, even actually it will grow in the eternal state. When we are in heaven, faith and hope will not have will have fulfilled their purpose. In fact, we won't need faith when we see God face to face, and also we will not need hope in the coming of Jesus once He comes. But we will always need the love, the Lord. We will always love the Lord and each other and grow in that love through eternity. Love is also the greatest because it is an attribute of God. Faith and hope are not part of God's character and personality. God does not have the faith in the way that we have, because He never has to trust outside of Himself. Okay, and God does not have the hope as we have, because He knows all things and He is in control of everything. So God is love and He will always be love. So God, even though we have gone astray, even though we have gone to the limits, but God will come back and take us into His bosom. Just want to sing this song and close. God's love is so wonderful. God's love is so wonderful. God's love is so wonderful. Oh, wonderful love. So high, you can't get over it. So deep, you can't get under it. So wide, you can't get around it. Oh, wonderful